What's going on, everyone? Colby here with Colby's Cards, and today I am going over what I picked up at the National Card Show this year. So this actually was my first ever national. I'd never been to one before. Just recently got into the hobby back in 2021, so it's been about a year and a half, 2 years-ish. So finally kind of decided to take the trip to the National since I felt like I knew what I was doing. Been to a few card shows locally, obviously have a relationship with a card shop here close to where I live. So I decided, and they were actually there at the National, which was pretty cool. So I kind of decided to check out the National. We used it as an excuse. My dad and I are trying to see a bunch of different MLB stadiums together. So we actually used it as an excuse to go to Chicago for a long weekend. We actually went on Wednesday, came home Sunday, and then Thursday we did the card show. So we went the first full public day. And then on, I want to say either Friday or Saturday, we did the Wrigley Field official tour since the Cubs were out of town. And then that night we saw a game at the White Sox Stadium. So we count both of those stadiums since we actually were inside of Wrigley Field. We got the official tour. It wasn't just, seeing it from the outside. So, but regardless, I want to go over what I picked up at the National. Now, I will say, generally speaking, I did not pick up a ton of stuff. Now, I did buy a hobby box. I bought a hobby box of Topps Chrome, or Series 2, which I'll put a picture here in the video because it ended up being one of the best hobby boxes of any flagship product that I've ever opened, or just any product, generally speaking. It was pretty wild what I got in that hobby box. I wish I would have filmed it, but I opened it there in Chicago. I also picked up a few mystery bags or mystery packs. Didn't really hit anything out of there. Actually, the first card here that I didn't buy this. This came in a mystery pack. So again, it's just a Chris Sale 2017 Donruss Optic. It's not even a rookie. I don't think it's his rookie year. I think he's been around for a bit longer than that. But this came in the mystery pack that I had bought. I think it was only like a $10 or $20 mystery pack. So I mean, I'm not too upset about it, but you can get better things out of mystery packs for sure. But then otherwise, I was really there just to kind of take it all in. It was somewhat overwhelming, truthfully, being obviously the biggest card show in the world, but also just my first time being at the National. We did only go for one day, which is certainly not enough time to spend at the National. I think I mean, really, the what, 4 or 5 days, 6 days that it's open still isn't even enough because there's just so many people, so many things to do, so many things to see, so many bargain bins and cases of cards to see, and there's just something new and different every single day. So essentially what I picked up is the following, and I did a lot of trades. I also sold a bunch. I ended up in the green financially, so I got rid of more cards and sold more cards than I brought home, which is kind of what my goal was. I had cards that I knew, were worth something. I didn't take like, $1 and $2 cards. I took some cards, some autographs, some case hit stuff, a couple graded items to get rid of that I figured would be better off in somebody else's collection, and to help grow my personal PC with things that I actually care about. So one of those examples is this here. So this is a National Treasures, which is Panini. So it is unlicensed, but from 2021 National Treasures, a really nice thick card stock there. And this is a Bryan Reynolds on-card autograph, and it's actually numbered out of 10. Now, he wears number 10. I didn't buy it for that reason. I just thought it was a cool card. And I actually didn't buy this card. I traded, so it was listed for 40 bucks, which I thought was a little bit steep for an unlicensed Bryan Reynolds, isn't the biggest superstar in the world. Great player for the Pirates, but I actually ended up trading a 1988 design card from 2023, so the 35-year throwback design of Jose Ramirez. It was an autograph that I had pulled from a Fat Pack, I believe. In comps on that were, I think on eBay, like 40 bucks. So I was like, hey, would you just do an outright trade, licensed versus unlicensed? And I figured that card would go to somebody who is either a Guardians fan or somebody that just values collecting Jose Ramirez better than I do. So he did the outright trade. I didn't really do a whole lot of research in terms of comps. I had a list on my phone of what I was looking to get for certain things and what I was looking to or what they had recently sold for and what I was looking to get. And I just kind of used that as a general base. But I didn't do a whole lot of research. You know, I did kind of reasonable stuff. But ultimately felt like I got out with some cards that I wanted to keep. So I went with my dad. Like I said, we're trying to see the stadiums. My dad also came to the card show. He's not a collector, but he just likes to go and check some things out and look at all the old memorabilia and stuff. So while I was looking at some of the expensive cards that I couldn't afford in like cases and things like that, he was actually going through a dollar box and found actually just the first two of these he found for $1 each. And I had bought another card from this guy as well. So I paid $1 for each of these. They are silver pack cards from respective releases. I think this one here is 2021 and this one here is 2018. So they're just, you know, silver pack promotional cards, chromed up finishes with the prism refractor kind of look. And this one has Mojo. This is more prism. But for $1 for my guy Starling Marte, had to pick those up. And then this one I paid $5 for, which I wasn't going to negotiate a $5 card. I just thought, what the heck? So it's Starling Marte, it's Panini Prism, but it's also numbered out of 50. So it's 13 of 50. 13 also happens to be my lucky number. So I thought it was a cool card. It's like the snakeskin finish, black and white snakeskin. It has a refractor look to it. So for $5, I just said, here's a $5 bill and took that one. That was from a different seller. And then we get into some of the better stuff that I bought and traded for. I think this one here, I wish I would have written down what I paid for them. And I know it's been a few weeks, but I slacked on making this video for a couple of reasons. But this one here I did pick up. I believe this one was part of a trade as well. It's actually numbered 14 of 15. So I traded, I want to say actually no, this one was a purchase. This one I think I only paid like $15, $20 for. Now that I say that in my head, I did buy this. So this one was like 15, 20 bucks, 14 out of 15. And it is obviously encased, so it's in good shape, and it's one of those buyback cards from Topps. This one was part of a trade of just a lot of cards. So I had some Cubs cards that were like a Seiya Suzuki rookie short print that from 2022 that really doesn't comp for a whole bunch. And then a couple other Cubs cards that I had and White Sox cards. So this was part of a trade there, as was this one. So this one here is from a recent release 2023 Topps Finest, and this is an on-card autograph. I like the card. Marte has an autograph in there. He doesn't have a base card, so the autograph is his cards are a little bit harder to come by just because he's only on the autograph checklist. And then this one here is from Topps Finest. I forget what year. It looks like 16 or 18. I can't read that small. But to Topps Finest, you can just see how the design has changed over the years. This one is also an on-card autograph. It's a green parallel as well, numbered 14 of 99. So I got that in part of a trade. And again, this is my main guy, Starling Marte, as you know if you've seen any of my videos. So I had to pick those two up. And then there was one other card that there's one other guy who, I live in Pittsburgh. I'm a huge Pittsburgh Pirates fan. Just a general diehard baseball fan, but obviously the Pirates are my hometown team. So always been a fan ever since I was young. Don't care how good they are. Don't care how crappy the owner is and what he does with deals and getting players and not players and trading and all that stuff. I care, but I don't care in terms of supporting the team. I'm always going to go watch the games. So that being said, over the past 10, 15 years, there's been a little known guy who has played for the Pirates. He went out and then just recently came back for this year by the name of Andrew McCutchen. And I was really, my one goal at the National was to sell some of the cards that I brought and then get my first Andrew McCutchen autographed baseball card. So this one here, I actually got via trade and I made money on it technically. He had it listed for 40. I didn't check comps just because I knew I wanted it. He also had a Topps Dynasty for $100 that I almost bought, but none of the Topps Dynasties of Andrew McCutchen that I could find at the National were of him on the Pirates. So if I'm going to shell out like $100, $120, $150 for a Kutch card, you know, I mean, it was within my budget to do so. However, if I'm going to do that, I want the card of him to be on the Pirates. So one of the sellers that also had one of the Dynasty cards had this card here. on card from Topps Chrome Black, I believe from 2022. So he was still on the Brewers at that point. And I mean, I just love his autograph. So I've got a few things autographed by Andrew McCutchen, but I don't have like cards that have been pulled that are already signed, like Topps certified autographs. So I wanted to get my first one, and he was offering 40 bucks. I had a few Cubs home field advantages. I had one of Christopher Morel and another one of Seiya Suzuki. So that they were both rookies, one from last year, one from this year. And looked at comps, and they both comped for between 15 and 20 bucks. Nothing too crazy. They weren't graded or anything like that. One had a nick in the corner. So I actually comped those at 50 bucks, and this was listed at 40. So, or no, I'm sorry, I'm getting that mixed up. This was listed at 40, and I gave him the 2 Cubs cards, and then he gave me this plus $10. So yeah, I guess 50 bucks. So he gave me this for the $40 value plus a $10 bill. So that's right. So I did comp those out at 50. Sorry, I was getting a little confused. But I got this card for 40 bucks basically in trade value, and then another $10 in cash. And this was the I guess you could say the biggest card that I got just from me personally. It's not a huge card. I understand that. But I'm a collector through and through. You know, I do sell cards because I do just get rid of cards that I don't collect personally. But ultimately, I'm in this just to collect and have fun and open packs, and ultimately get players that I've watched since I've been growing up. You know, I'm 28 years old, so kind of in my later growing up years, I watched Andrew McCutchen kind of do his thing here in Pittsburgh, and he's just an all-around seemingly great guy for the city, for any city that he's been in. I know Philadelphia loves him also from when his time on the Phillies. So had to pick this up, and again, I also made $10 on the deal. I know I could have bought this on eBay, but again, it's my first national, and I just decided to go ahead and go for it. So I wasn't leaving there that day without a Kutch autograph. Like I said, I also picked up some Starling Marte stuff, 3 autos from him, 3 other cards here of Marte that I just want to add to my collection. The Brian Reynolds autograph I just kind of stumbled upon, but made a nice trade for him. And then this Chris Sale came out of a mystery pack. So I know I kind of rambled there. If you're still watching the video, I really certainly appreciate it. Appreciate the support. If you could just go ahead and drop a like on there, and feel free to subscribe. I do drop videos pretty often. I do rip a lot of baseball, a lot of wax, and then I kind of go over some eBay purchases and things like that. So really appreciate everyone's support, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.